Will you drive for anyone else, or is that the end of your driving career?
I won't be driving a Cup car for anybody else.
Fair enough.
You know, or a Busch car, really anything in NASCAR competition. I'm with the best guy out there. I can't imagine going anywhere else. We're excited about, you know, extending Jimmy, and you know, he's been phenomenal for the whole organization. I'm gonna be there for a long. We got a great group of drivers and, and guys and crew chiefs and everything right now. They're working so well together.
Great. Well, thanks for coming by.
Thank you guys.
But I want to put you on spot right quick.
Okay.
Who's going to win the open race? Who you like?
I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin.
All right,
but
I want Brian Vickers to win.
Right, and what's your pick on this? What do you like, the chicken? Do you like the...
Look, I got news for you right now. This is it right here. I'm telling you right now.
Eat that with the white shirt. All right, Mario.
Look, I'm not Darryl Walker. I can handle it.
Thanks very much, all right? Delicious.
Wow.
They do have laundromats. So if the shirts get wrecked, it's all right.
We'll get ready for the Nextel Open. It's a big night of all-star racing and eating here on FX.
Man, that's good.
It's a shower that will move through the area. Of course, once you dry out the mile-and-a-half track, then we'll have the Nextel Open, 45 miles, 30 laps, and then the Nextel Challenge, 90 laps. That's what Jeff Gordon will be in. We have 18 drivers that are set there. This is the formula. Nextel Open for drivers who have not won a race over the past 2 seasons. Winner of that 30-lap shootout advances to the big race. A fan vote will allow another driver to advance to the All-Star Challenge. 20 drivers total, 90 laps spread over 3 segments. Segment 1 goes 40 laps, then 30, then 20. Will invert the field. Anywhere from 6 to 12 names will be flip-flopped, and that'll affect the order. A live performance from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Stadium Arcadium, debuting #1, their album. They're here live with us. And then the final few segments and the ultimate winner. And as you heard Jeff Gordon talk about the $1 million payday, so a lot to fight for. Jeff Burton, one of those guys, Jeff Hammond, along with Elliott Sadler, one of the 29 drivers in the first phase of this night, the Nextel Open, that need to win or get voted in to participate in the later event.
Yeah, we saw a shot of the Jeff Burton, who'll be starting 5th. Now we're looking at Robbie Gordon, who'll be starting back at 14th. And, you know, all these guys are looking just for that opportunity to get into the Nextel All-Star Challenge. And this is a great thing for them to be able to do, run that first race, maybe be able to advance, but more importantly, what this race is going to do is give them an opportunity to know what this racetrack's going to be like for next week's race when it really counts, and it'll be a point race in the Coca-Cola 600.
Quite of a marathon there.
Chris, I don't interrupt you, but look right there on Denny Hamlin's hand. You can see the stitches that he received in that left hand from that little incident here at Lowe's Motor Speedway during testing. And I had a chance to talk to him the other day about it. And the doctor told me, said, look, no bandages, no extra medicine or anything like that. Just let the air kind of help it heal. But again,
car leaves. He gets out on the asphalt quickly. Kevin Harvick in the 29 stays on the concrete. And I just believe with this little harder tire, he was able to get the bite a little better by getting out there on the asphalt. And that could have been a big difference in the way these 2 cars got off pit road, got up.
Down the gas, and let's Earnhardt drive up the hill. And when he does, his body slams into me, right into the 3rd turn wall. Our night's over. My special memories of the All-Star race, running it back-to-back in 91 and 92 with Davey Allison. 92, we take the lead. Kyle gets to run on us off turn 4. Davey beats him back to the line that far, but it's not over with yet. They get together just past the start-finish line. Davey hits the wall, spins, sparks flash. Our car ends up down here in turn 1. The car, it didn't go to victory lane. The team, we didn't go to victory lane. We went to the hospital to make sure Davey Allison was okay.
You always hear about how important the All-Star race is to the drivers. Let me tell you something. It's not always just about the drivers. In 1989, when Rusty Wallace spun Darrell Walker off of turn 4 here in the All-Star race, well, the race may have been over, but it wasn't done between the crews. As a matter of fact, right here on the pit road, we threw down. That's how much it mattered to the crews. We didn't like the fact that we got took out of this race, and we had to show our displeasure about it. We went over and let that crew know all about it. That was in 1989.
So, folks, you're saying, what's the point of the All-Star race? There are no stinking points. It's all about trophies, and it's all about money. You see this line right here? I crossed it first in 1985. What was the big deal about that? It was the first All-Star race, and I didn't even know if they'd have another one or not. Let me tell you something. You better come tonight with your work clothes on and your game face on, because the man that can walk the line and cross it first going to go home with $1 million.
Spectacular moment. They were talking about 92. It was the first year under the lights, and you and Dale Earnhardt went at it toe-to-toe, and then Davey Allison. What are your most poignant memories of that night?
You know, great race. Came down. We run really good in the last segment. Earnhardt goes into turn 3, tries to block me down the backstretch, gets a bad angle going in 3, spins up the racetrack. I check up a little bit. Davey gets a great run, just a great run. And I think that's my biggest regret, or one of my biggest regrets in life, is Davey didn't get a chance to go to victory lane that night. And, you know, like I said, it's like two runners running for the line. As soon as we got through the trial or crossed the start-finish line, both guys relaxed. We got into each other. I'm here, so I'll take the blame for it, and he ends up spending the night in the hospital, but it was a great race and a lot of fun racing those guys.
Now, Kyle, for those who didn't see practice yesterday, you said that Michael Waltrip was your campaign manager. Can you explain that?
Well, Coca-Cola came up with a program. I've been associated with Coca-Cola for about 20 years of my life, the greatest company in the world, and they came up with a program, and it was basically vote for Kyle, reward the Victory Junction Gang Camp, and it was all about the All-Star event. And Coca-Cola, Swan's Home Delivery, Tire Kingdom, Wells Fargo, those guys got together. I think they're going to make about a $275,000 donation, and then any monies that we win in the Open, and if we do win the vote, or blessed enough to win the vote and get into the All-Star event, any monies we win there will all go to help the Victory Junction Gang Camp. Plus, there's other people that are kicking in because of the amount of votes that have been cast. So Coca-Cola with the My Coke Rewards program, it's just been a great couple of weeks. Michael Waltrip's been my campaign manager. Yesterday, J.J. Yaley had some very, very nice things to say, and I appreciate that. Other drivers have gotten involved, so it's just been a good program.
I got to go back to Chris, but tell us about your special guest here.
Okay, well, I got Justin here with me, and Justin's one of our campers, and these guys wanted to come to the race and hang out. And then we got Vic, our new mascot. We've been using a teddy bear at camp, but we decided to go to a horse, and his name's Vic because of Victory Junction. And this is Justin's first race, and he's pretty excited. Took him through driver introduction, and he hopes we win some money for camp tonight.
Hey, Justin, I saw you on stage. Are you having a good time, buddy?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
It's a whole new trip. Time magazine has declared the first great movie of the summer is Cars.
Holy Porsche.
Prepare to be floored. Disney presents a Pixar film.
Get your antenna balls here!
Cars, rated G.
I give my left two lug nuts just to see that picture.
In theater.
Go did not get the checkered flag. It looked like a case of bump 'em and dump 'em. Brian Vickers got the win and went on to finish in the top 5 in the Nextel Challenge. Mike Bliss was the fellow who was turned around the wrong way as they came to the flag. I got both drivers to talk about it and reminisce.
Vickers wins.
Second in that race is kissing your mother-in-law. You know, it's terrible. And I would never want to. Nothing against my mother-in-law.
Now, my thoughts are really the same as they were last year. You know, it's a race for one spot. It's not a race for points. It's not a race for seconds. It's a race for one spot.
I really wanted to go over there and just jump on his car like a maniac. But, you know, there was part of me that, you know, I had to keep my cool.
You know, would I have done anything different? No, I don't think so. You know, I'm sure he wouldn't have done anything different if he was in my place.
Have you and Brian talked about this?
No, you know, I don't say I hate anybody, but, you know, I don't go out of my way to talk to him. If I was running the All-Star and I was behind him tonight, I'd be certain that'd be the first thing I'd do is just try to drill him. And that's a bad thing, I guess, but yeah, to be honest, I would do everything I could, you know. But, you know, he wanted to win the race, and he got it.
8 minutes or so, we'll continue to talk to drivers, and our crew will keep you up to date with what's going on. Time for our Fox Flash NASCAR News and Notes, featuring a hugger, a slugger, and a junior. Jimmy Johnson shook hands and hugged the Lowe's team, extending his contract through 2010 this week with Hendrick Motorsports and Lowe's. He's won the last 4 Cup races held here at this Speedway. Richard Slugger Labby, crew chief for Dale Jarrett, lost his appeal of the full race suspension he was handed for improper adjustments after the Richmond race. The suspension starts right away. And Martin Truex Jr.'s race team won the Pit Crew Challenge held this week in Charlotte. The crew had to change tires and push the car across the finish line. The winning team received $70,000, and that's about what a gallon of gas will cost you these days. I know with Speed, you were part of the crew that broadcast. There's Martin Truex, who was voted in by the fans last week, and we'll see him in the Open here in just a few moments. His pit crew, Jeff Burton, among those 2 segments, 30 laps. It goes 20 laps and then 10, the fan vote. And then 3 segments, 40, 30, and 20 is how it breaks down in the Nextel All-Star Challenge with an inversion in there. We play the inversion game. Anywhere between 6 and 12 spots will be flip-flopped, which will certainly have an effect. Our team of All-Star Pit reporters, let's check.
He thought he had it saved. It sure looked like it for a long time.
And he said in his interview he was just trying to lay down a good lap, and it just, the law of physics took over there, just wouldn't grip.
And it didn't look like, you know, say, well, he didn't hit it that hard. Folks, he was running 190 mile an hour when he spun out.
Now this is an impound race. This part, the All-Star Challenge was not. So other than these cars being able to be worked on as backup cars, Kyle Petty and Elliott Sadler, the other cars were only able to have those few adjustments that the impound procedure has done to it.
20 laps, including any yellow flag laps, all restarts double file, and then they'll throw a caution with 10 to go and restart, give everybody a chance to catch their breath, and then it's 10 laps for the finish.
I talked to a lot of the crew chiefs. We talked about the small fuel cell. The fuel window with that small fuel cell is about 35 to 36 laps. We run 2 or 3 pace laps here, and as you saw in that final segment, green flag laps only. So if we get a caution there, there's a little bit of nervousness if they don't pit for fuel between those segments that they can go the distance.
But for Denny Hamlin's win in the Bud Shootout in February, the front 4 drivers in this race have not won in Nextel Cup.
53 grand for 45 miles. That's not too bad a paycheck just for this little heat race.
Pace car is off. DW, I have no idea what you got. You better reach up there and pull those belts tight. One more time, get this party started.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Smoke already out of the 21 car, I think it is.
I think that might just be a tire rub on Kenny Schrader, the 21.
I'm hoping it is. And everybody behind him is too.
And someone, Brian Vickers, backing up the inside lane.
Well, right here, turn 3 and 4 has been really treacherous. But I'll say this, the truck guys told me that when the sun went down, this track picked up a...
What a save.
Wow.
Well, the really great part was down here when he came back on the racetrack.
Bottom, got a few more to come back.
I was nervous when he got in that grass because we know how wet that grass is.
I was so afraid he was going to come right back out in front of the other cars, but that's where he did an outstanding job of keeping the car under control.
A single car crash that could
We're done there, guys.
have taken out half the field.
Yeah, I just really
Look, 2 cars ahead of David Stremme here.
Just gets loose coming off turn 4. We've seen that all weekend long. Turn 4 has been really, really hard on everybody. Cars spun out there all weekend.
You see the roof flaps come up. That helps keep that car on the ground right there. And you heard him say, told his crew chief Donnie Wingo, really, really loose.
Yeah, right there is where he really did a good job of keeping that thing out of the racetrack.
Everybody gets through without further incident.
Caution is out. It comes at lap 12, so we're still 8 laps away from that caution. It comes at lap 20.
What was that all about?
Makes it sound like you got somebody push. Got a little
07 just decided to take you out.
There's damage in the left rear corner of Wallace's car.
Spotter said something about the 07 car, which would be Clint Boyer, one of those cars that pitted on that last caution.
Clint better be careful. Best I recall, down at Phoenix a few weeks ago, they brought him in, talked to him about such a thing.
During the Busch race.
In the Busch race.
That's right.
But I tell you what I'd be worried about if I was Scott Riggs, is that 66 car. Because he looked to me like he was closing up fast on the back of that Dodge.
No, definitely looked like he got help from the 07 car. Kenny Wallace in the
What happens
78.
to you? What happens to you off that turn 4 there is if you get a really good run and you can stay in the throttle, you can really close up on the guy in front of you in a hurry. A lot like think back to Kyle Petty and your driver Davey Allison at the time. Davey got a wheel of a run off the corner, got under Kyle. They made contact. Davey wrecked. That happens all the time. We saw it here last year in the Open.
In the last lap.
Yeah.
And Mike Bliss was then driving the 0. That car is now the 66. Same crew chief, Booty Barker.
Yeah, I think he's got a tire down. He's got a tire down.
Yeah, in the wall. He definitely had a tire down, DW.
In the wall, guys.
And the caution is out here on lap 19.
Sorry about
Daggone, and that...
Let the left front go down. Clear low, clear low.
That's a shame. That team is just, they're working so hard.
The left front tire, something went down.
Third caution of the night, and it's Scott Wimmers. Now, Mr. Excitement, Robbie Gordon. He was 14th at the last caution, so he lined up 7th outside. He's now running 9th, so he'll line up 5th on the inside. And he is coming.
And I believe I'd rather be, if I were him and what I've been seeing of him, I'd rather be on the outside.
Yes.
But take what you can get.
Keep an eye on the aero exhaust number 4 of Wimmer.
Here he is under heat, and I believe Jeff Burton, I thought they made contact.
Something happened, it looked like right there.
No, yeah, well, that's why I thought that he didn't make contact. He lost his tire right there.
Boy, look how close Robbie Gordon to 7. Just barely got by.
You see the left front just wobbling there.
Yeah, now he's trying to get out of the way. But he's not sure if he has a problem or not. That happens so often. And here now he knows it.
Car just would not turn.
Boy, Nemechek was lucky to get past him.
And you know what I hate for this Ford team right here is they are not locked into the Coca-Cola 600 next week as far as qualifying. And they spent most of their practice yesterday working on qualifying runs, trying to use it as a test session for next week.
Boy, that was close right there on Nemechek. Oh, my gosh. He clipped him.
Under this caution, 7 cars come to pit road, all toward the back of the field. And now the clock has stopped, let's say, because we've reached the 20-lap point. And from here on, the last 10 laps of this race, only green flag laps count.
And a year ago, pit road would have been a very busy place with that soft tire trying to get that grip back. But all of our guys, I'm looking right now at the top 9. Every one of them, except for about one driver, run their fastest lap of the race about 1 or 2 laps.
Gordon is up and into Sorensen, but they keep going. Gordon lost the momentum. Here comes Sterling Marlin on the bottom in that 14. Mike Bliss, who drove that 66 last year, said finishing second here is like kissing your mother-in-law. It's just not the same as getting the checkered flag and moving up to the Nextel Challenge.
Carl DLP Camarama, 2 to go.
I like that shot.
Scott Riggs drove a Chevrolet here last year for MBV Motorsports.
Coming from the white flag.
Moved over to Ray Evernham's Dodge team, brought the Valvoline deal with him, and he looks headed for victory lane.
And I tell you what, for a team that started the year off by missing the Daytona 500, they have come to life. White flag. If he can make it one more lap, that'll give Ray Evernham 3 cars in the All-Star Challenge.
Jeff Green got a little distance on Vickers in turn 1 for second.
It's raining down here on the spotter stand. It's raining. You're clear by 20.
Oh, boy.
Raining and clear by 20.
Seas are through there.
Scott Riggs is going to make his first trip to the Nextel All-Star Challenge. Riggs wins the Nextel Open.
Cha-ching, 53,000. Thank you very much.
Jeff Green second, Ryan Vickers third. Teammates Denny Hamlin, J.J. Yaley round out the top 5.
And Robbie Gordon, who took so many chances on the outside and was a delight to watch, comes home in 9th place.
The top 8 cars ran the entire race without pitting.
Tell you one thing, as I said in the show there, that 10 car was not hurting for horsepower. That thing was a rocket down the straightaway.
Little science project, maybe.
I think there was something going on there.
And among the disappointed who have to look to next week, fellows like Schrader 10th, Nemechek 11th, Elliott Sadler 12th, Boyer 13th, Sorensen 14th.
Easy there, Scott.
You
got 90 more, buddy.
Yeah, you better watch out here, dude. You got to race that bad boy.
Yeah, it was just a baby.
Mike, I think another first here on FX. Now backstage with Jamie McMurray and Michael Waltrip. Now we're grading cartwheels, and you were concerned that Carl Edwards may come out and school everybody.
Well,
choking on your Diet Coke there.
Yeah, I choked on it a lot lately. I just told him to do it again. It was somewhat entertaining to watch in the rain. Michael keeps yelling at him. I told him, come on.
What do you think?
I told him that they needed to stay off the paint or they'd blow that whistle at them. And then also...
That's not good when they blow the whistle at you.
No, and we were thinking that Carl Edwards might come out here and yell at them, or maybe Mark Martin would come out here and show them how to do it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know about a lot of special moments here back in 1996. That was a huge night for you.
It was great because I went to drive for the Wood Brothers that year, and they fully expected me to win for them and to come here. I think we were top 5 in the points at that point during the season, and then won the All-Star race that night. It was a great feeling, and just seeing Eddie and Lynn and Leonard and Glenn and the whole family smile after that race, and knowing they won a big event, and I was real proud that I was able to be a part of it with them.
This event was always huge for T. Wayne Robertson, the late T. Wayne, and Nextel has really thrown their arms around this and made it bigger and better every year.
Well, every time I look at a racetrack or an event and see all the black and yellow around, I'm so thankful for T. Wayne. He's the reason why Nextel was able to step in and take it to the level it is now. T. Wayne knew a little bit about promoting the series and selling his brand, and he had a passion for the sport, so he carried that passion through to what his job was, and so it raised this deal way up. We wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for he and his team building it to where they left off and Nextel took over, and Tom and all the guys at Nextel. I'm just so thankful that they're a part of our series.
Fernando, you're on.
Crazy old man. Get things done instantly. Now get a free I-265 by Motorola after $50 mailing rebate.
The Nextel All-Star Challenge on FX is sponsored by UPS, proud sponsor of Dale Jarrett's 88 Ford. The Nextel All-Star Challenge is delivered by UPS. UPS delivers the chance to manage your own free fantasy auto racing team and win 2 tickets to any Fox broadcast race. Just go to foxsports.com, keyword UPS. We are just about ready to meet the drivers, the 20 of them that will square off in stock car racing's All-Star Night. 18 that qualified last night, plus the Open winner Scott Riggs, and 1 surprise.
NASCAR's Warriors, or better known as X-Men 43, are ready to make a final stand tonight in Charlotte.
There have always been moments when the course of history shifted. Such a turning point is upon us now.
It's a tale of NASCAR's best of the best.
In here with us,
NASCAR's Warriors are fearless.
make no mistake, my brothers. The humans will draw first blood.
Powerful and unstoppable.
Fury that this world has never witnessed.
And they possess guts, heart.
Sometimes when you cage the beast gets angry.
And superior skill.
They have their weapons. We have ours.
Tonight it's all in the stars as these X-Men make an all-star stand next in Charlotte.
Nothing can stop us.
NASCAR and FX are glad to have you a part of our All-Star Night here at Lowe's Motor Speedway with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, and America's Watching Live. The best drivers in the world competing here tonight. Jeff, not only are we going to meet the drivers, but special introductions to their entire pit crews, the guys that do all the work behind the scenes.
Oh, man, it's going to be a great night. Every time you come to the All-Star Weekend, what do you feel, Chris? Electricity, excitement. But again, we always talk about it. What's tonight all about, folks? The presidents. You know, Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, it's the money.
I'm also feeling raindrops, and hopefully we'll get the Nextel All-Star Challenge in. A special performer in Carolina. Fans know him well here in the great state of North Carolina.
That's right.
Pro Bowl wide receiver. They played in the championship game. Steve Smith is here tonight to watch the race. He knows all about All-Stars. Hey, Steve. How you doing?
Great to have you tonight.
Say hi to some of the folks enjoying the race. Also later performing.
Yep, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, it's really going to be exciting.
We're glad to have you along. Let's throw it upstairs to Mike Joy, who will introduce the drivers and their teams.
Thanks, Chris, and hello, everybody. 18 drivers who qualified last night who earned their way into the Nextel All-Star Challenge. We'll be joined by Nextel Open winner Scott Riggs and by one special driver that you voted into the show. Starting 18th, driver of the UAW Dodge Dealers Dodge in his 7th All-Star appearance, Jeremy Mayfield. And with Jeremy, his Ray Evernham team, led by a first-time Nextel Challenge crew chief, Chris Andrews. Starting 17th, the first rookie to win the All-Star Challenge. It happened in 2000 for the driver of the Budweiser Chevy, Dale Earnhardt Jr. His Budweiser crew is led by Junior's cousin, Tony Uri Jr. Starting 16th, the 1998 and 2005 Challenge winner making his 17th start. He's in the AAA Ford Fusion, Mark Martin. And here's last year's All-Star Challenge winning crew from Roush Racing, led by Pat Trison. Starting 15th in his second All-Star event. He won here in his second Cup start in 2002. Driving the Irwin Industrial Tools Ford, Jamie McMurray. And here's Jamie's Roush Racing crew, led by a 4-time Nextel Cup race winner, Bob Osborne. Starting 14th, the first driver to win the challenge by advancing from the open. He did it in 1996. He drives the Napa Dodge, Michael Waltrip. And here's the number 55 Bill Davis Racing crew, led by new crew chief Joe Shear Jr. Starting 13th and making his second All-Star Challenge appearance is the driver of the Office Depot Ford, Carl Edwards. And here's Carl's Roush Racing crew, led by recently appointed crew chief Wally Brown. Starting 12th is the 1999 Nextel Cup champion, who has finished twice, a second twice in the All-Star Challenge. He drives the UPS Ford, Dale Jarrett. And here's Here's Dale's Robert Yates Racing Crew, led by interim crew chief Jason Burdett. Starting 11 will be the 2000 Nextel Cup champion. He's in his 12th All-Star Challenge. Driving the Go-Gurt Dodge for Richard Petty, here's Bobby Labonte. And here's the team that'll support Bobby for car 43, led by the 1999 championship crew chief, Todd Parrott. Starting 10, the Series 2005 Rookie of the Year, making his first All-Star Challenge in the Kellogg Chevrolet, Kyle Busch. And here's the crew that took Kyle to 2 wins in his rookie season, led by Alan Gustafson. In his 6th All-Star Challenge, driving the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet, Kevin Harvick. And here's his Richard Childress Racing Crew, led by the crew chief that helped Harvick win the 2001 Busch Series Championship, Todd Berrier. Starting 8th. In his 8th straight All-Star Challenge, 2-time and defending Nextel Cup champion, driving the Home Depot Chevrolet, Tony Stewart. And here's his defending Cup championship pit crew, led by Greg Zipadelli. Starting 7th, the 2003 Nextel Cup champion and winner of the 2004 All-Star Challenge. In the DeWalt Power Tools Ford, Matt Kenseth. And here are the Roush Racing Killer Bees, the 2001 and 2 pit crew champions, led by Robbie Reiser. Starting 6th, the National Guard Charter Ford. In his 3rd challenge, last week's winner at Darlington, number 16, Greg Biffle. And here's his Roush Racing team, led by the 1980 championship-winning crew chief, Doug Richards. Starting 5th and driving the Alltel Dodge, winner of the challenge in his first appearance in his rookie year 2002, Ryan Newman. And here's his Penske Racing team, led by a crew chief who has 12 wins and 35 poles with Ryan, Matt Borland. Starting 4th, 3-time All-Star Challenge winner in the DuPont Chevrolet, Jeff Gordon. Hendrick Motorsports team in his first time in the All-Star Challenge, crew chief Steve Letarte. Starting third and competing in his fifth All-Star Challenge, runner-up in 2003. Now he drives the Miller Lite Dodge, Kurt Busch. Here's his Penske Racing crew, led by a crew chief who had 6 wins and 9 starts in 2005. That's Roy McCauley. Let's move to the front row. Starting second, the 2003 Challenge winner in his 5th straight All-Star Challenge. He drives the Lowe's Chevrolet, Jimmy Johnson. And leading a Hendrick Motorsports team that has won the last 4 point races at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Chad Knaus.
Oh, baby, when you talk like that, you make a woman go mad. So be wise and keep on reading the signs of my body.
Starting on the pole in his 3rd All-Star Challenge, his first career pole in the challenge in the Dodge dealers UAW Dodge, Casey Kane. With him, the 2005 Nextel Pit Crew Challenge winning team, runners-up this year, led by team director Kenny Francis. From the front row, let's move to the back row. And starting 19th, the Nextel Open winner, appearing in his first All-Star Challenge, Scott Riggs. And here's Scott's Evernham Motorsports crew, led by a crew chief who came to this team with Scott, Rodney Childers. And finally in the 20th position, who did you vote into the Nextel All-Star Challenge? This will be his 11th start in this event. He's not been in it since 1999. He finished second in 1992. Would you welcome your choice, Kyle Petty? Raising over $250,000 for his Victory Junction gang camp with his appearance in the challenge, thanks to your vote. And here's Kyle's Petty Enterprises crew, led by 1992 Nextel Cup Championship winning crew chief Paul Andrews.
And let's take a moment to welcome the band, the winner. Got the pose? All right, we've got Anthony, Michael, Chad, John, Flea, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers will be performing. This is Flea, by the way, all right?
Hey,
okay.
Really
we have to flee, but you're going to perform some music for the All-Star crowd tonight. Thanks for your donation. Stick around. You're watching NASCAR on FX. We're getting ready to go racing. But first, a performance from the Red Hot Chili Peppers in just a moment, live just outside Charlotte, North Carolina.
In specified laps, all restarts double file. We like that. And the leader at the end of this segment gets $75,000, but most importantly, they're going to invert part of the field.
Yeah, at least 6, maybe up to 12. So the guys in the back, They may want to stay in the back.
But $75,000 just to win this little 40-lap race.
Yep.
Coming from the rear of the field.
Got to remember something. There's a lot to be gained here, but you don't want to do something here tonight that's stupid. And $1 million will make you do something stupid. So you got to watch out.
DW, like Mike and Dick said, it's Saturday night. In honor of you being the inaugural winner of this thing 21 years ago, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go all-star racing, boys. There he is, right kind of in the middle of the picture. Gets that thing sideways. I'm shaking. I bet he thought it was gone.
And look at the move his teammate Matt Kenseth's made in that 17 car, as well as Tony Stewart.
Tony did a great job of staying off of him.
But Kenseth just lost the 5th place to Stewart. Here comes Johnson for the lead.
Boy, he got a good run down in the bottom of turn 1 and 2. He'll win the drag race down the back straightaway. He's going to take the lemon right there. I don't know that he touched it, but when you make that kind of a run like that.
Looks like what happened here last year when Tony Stewart got a big run off of turn 4. Got in the back there.
You got a flat left front, bud.
Jamie McMurray has had such a heartbreak of a season, trying to get things going with his new team, Roush Racing, a change of crew chiefs. They're trying to get all the cars like the ones that Bob Osborne had with Carl Edwards and had so much success with. And they came in here, another driver that yesterday having trouble finding the handling of the car. And tonight, well, this is a little different.
But Darrell, you're running this fast. When you run up behind somebody like that
and bump them,
it definitely did get into it, but you could almost start to see the car get a little bit loose right there when you run up on him that fast. But he definitely did get into it. And then he gets into the outside wall.
Light contact, but nonetheless, it did a lot of damage to the car.
So the Irwin Tools Ford comes to pit road. It's the only car on pit road. And once again, it's turn 4. It's Calamity Corner.
Now remember, the pit stop we've been talking about, it has to be under green. It cannot happen under a caution. So we're going to have to get back started under green before that pit stop can happen for 4 tires and fuel.
Drop the green and I'm coming in next time back.
The pit stop right here.
That had to happen.
No caution yet. As Riggs gets right way around and gets going, no caution flag.
2 cars pitted. Jimmy Johnson, the 48, Matt Kenseth in the 17. Now these other cars, they have 2 laps to get on pit road.
Steve.
You see the 17 on pit road and the 9 on the racetrack. The 48 of Jimmy Johnson on pit road. No changes. The 17 is away. Jimmy Johnson said the car is a little bit free, but obviously I like it a lot.
And here come 8 more onto pit road, and what a tough break for Scott Riggs. He's cut down a right front tire, and he's limping toward the pits.
The cars that did not pit that time looks like Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, Kevin Harvick. They did not pit.
Dale Jr. stays out.
So they'll have to come this time, and Scott Riggs is going to be right in the entrance of pit road. He's going to mess up Tony Stewart in the 20.
Matt?
And they've already completed a chassis adjustment on the 2 of Busch. His car a little on the tight side, and it was a tight condition as well for Casey Kane in the 9. They were going to fix his car with wedge.
Penalty. Too fast entering. And who was it?
Jimmy Johnson, 48 car.
And you know, in his defense, I'm not surprised. He's trying to get on pit road without getting run over.
Now his penalty will be a drive-through as you see him following Dale Earnhardt Jr. down pit road at 45 miles per hour, Steve.
And Larry Mack, I just want to add to what Darrell said. That is precisely what Jimmy Johnson said. He said, I almost got run over. I had to get on pit road fast.
The last driver to pit.
You probably couldn't have had a worst case scenario. You got to make a pit stop, and you're in that window where it had to be made.
Dale Jr. in and out. And I believe he's the last driver to make his pit stop.
He was in earlier.
It looks like to me, though, Kyle Busch in the 5 car will be leading this race. Jimmy Johnson at the tail end of the lead lap just in front.
Out of the way.
And Mark Martin gets in the back of Riggs.
Mark ran into the back of Riggs.
Look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's going to have to go out through the grass in the 8 car. And it looks like after all this has shaken out, Tony Stewart in the 20 is going to be second right now.
High, go high, go high, go high.
Can't go high now. Can't go high now.
Yellow,
I'm committed.
No yellow, no yellow.
When you're already committed to the bottom, you can't just turn it back to the right. In theory, it sounds...
Problem. Matt Yoakum.
He's been saying for about 3 or 4 laps that the car, the engine is tightening up, and it was starting to fill up in the cockpit with smoke.
Well, the caution is out. Let me tell you who is grinning from ear to ear. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car. He'll be back. Still on the lead lap, but he'll be back behind the pack now.
4 down low over here, neighbor.
Busch trying to keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack and then down to the 8.
Starting to get tight. Yeah, 10-4, about 2 laps going.
Now, this was about to get really interesting between Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon. Those 3 cars, second, third, and fourth, were very close together. Now, not working in Scott Riggs' favor is the fact that there is no free pass tonight. All of the lucky dogs are fast asleep.
The lucky dog, there was one on that caution. I want to say it again, Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car, because he had just, he had drove away from our leaders. There he is right there, and he's still on the lead lap.
And this is after the tires now are good.
Over here on the backstretch.
I thought it was raining. I thought I saw some raindrops there a minute ago.
Yeah, you had to go and mention that, did you, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, what the 48 car's goal would be before we get to that end of that first segment is try to get to the top 12, knowing that somewhere between 6 and 12 cars will be inverted for the second segment as the 2 car makes that dreaded turn.
Might get more done now, and then that's just less you got to do when you get to the break.
Still under caution, NASCAR saying that they still have enough heat in the asphalt to race as a bit of rain comes down. Stock car racing's all-star night. Now it's a little damp. It is raining again here in Concord, North Carolina. The cars have been halted under the red flag. A little shower blowing through here. Taping up the cowl intakes. Undoing the helmets and the hoses and covering the cars up briefly, we hope.
Now we're 6 laps away from what would be the end of the first segment right now with Kyle Busch leading. As we've talked about, a lot of differences in rules. You can actually work on your cars here under the red flag, and that could be good news for some of these cars. You can see right there they're working on Scott Riggs' car, the 10 car. Now remember, he is a lap down.
Yeah, and Mike, you know, when the 48 and some of the others 8, some of them came on pit road a while ago, you said, why would he be doing that now? I believe they're trying to get a set of tires on the car, run them 4 or 5 laps, get some heat in those tires. We've heard every driver complain about being loose on when they change tires. Now they got a set of tires on, got 3 or 4 laps on them, tighten the car up, be good to go.
Well, Steve, you saw how bad Kyle Busch was when they changed their tires, so I bet he would maybe agree.
And then now it's about a 3 tight, so it's kind of going back and forth across the board. But you know, last night I never got past a 1 tight to a 1 loose to a back to a 1 tight. So I don't know what it is, but you know, the Kellogg Chevrolet's handling pretty good right now. We were starting to pull back away from those guys, but they're just killing us in the beginning of the run. We got to work on something in order to make ourselves better, because we only got to run another 30 and then a 20-lap segment, so we got to get going in the beginning.
I was watching the truck race last night on Speed. Could you explain the significance of Rowdy Busch on the door frame?
Yeah, the significance of that was all about the number 51. You know, our primary truck is number 15 with Kyle Kristoloff and Ditech.com over there. So they wanted to come out with a second truck for myself to run a couple races again this year, and you know, we just reversed the numbers 51. And I told corporate image Frank Bolter over there that we needed to make some Rowdy Burns a look-alike there. So we put the 51 on it just like it, and you know, the red stripe down the side, and put Rowdy Busch on the roof just as a little play.
By the way, great style points during driver intros, you and the team. That was very nice.
Yeah, that was awesome. Rick Pigeon came up with that one. That was pretty funny. He's our stunt coordinator now, so the Jack man there. It was kind of cool. I think we might have won the award there for that, but we need to win the big award here at the end of the night, $1 million.
What about strategy right now, Kyle?
I don't know. We're allowed to work on it right now, so we're going to talk it over and see what we need to do in order to make it a little bit better for these final 5 or 6 laps, and then you know, for like I said, the next couple runs, we need to do something with it in order to make it run good on the beginning of the run, so we don't get beat up that bad.
Thank you.
Stewart's going to try to make a run on the outside, but here comes Biffle in the 16 car to the inside.
Boy, Biffle's car is bad fast on the bottom of this racetrack.
Well, this is treacherous right here on cold tires.
Woo! Biffle! And look at Jeff Gordon. he's going to make it 3 wide almost coming through turn 4. And this is going to allow Kyle Busch to drive away from these guys.
Boy, I tell you, Jeff Gordon cut Greg Biffle a lot of slack right there.
Yes, he did.
Harvick comes around on the high side, taking advantage of this double file restart.
And he also took advantage of those cars stacking up back there in turn 4 on that last lap.
We're getting into turn 3 just side by side. That is absolutely tip and toe right there.
All right, Harvick to third, but Biffle is coming back on the inside.
Well, I think we saw on the other starts that Biffle has takes a couple of laps for him to get wound up, get going, tires come in.
Kenseth coming back into the fray.
Now, one more lap of this first segment. And remember, not only is that a battle for third right there, that's a battle for $10,000 who finishes third in this first segment.
Hey, Larry, guess where the 48 is?
He has made his way up to 11th position and still a-coming.
If they invert 6, it'll put Kenseth on pole as we complete 40 laps.
If they invert 12, it'll put Jimmy Johnson on the front row.
Along with Dale Jarrett.
Now, there's the caution right there.
If they invert 10, Mark Martin and Ryan Newman go to the front row. Should they invert 8 cars, Carl Edwards and Casey Kane go to the front row. And if they invert 6, well, Jeff Gordon passed Harvick on that lap, so it would be Harvick and Kenseth on the front row.
So Kyle Busch is $75,000 richer, Tony Stewart $20,000 richer, and Greg Biffle $10,000.
And he has this to look forward to, starting 6th or 12th.
So when we come back, Chris Myers will answer his phone and find out who starts up front in segment 2.
Make it tonight. He's spinning a wheel. We're watching the wheels spin. Time to play the inversion game here on FX. And what we did was the 140,000 plus fans got to vote on their Nextel Sprint cellular phone. These were the 4 choices of NASCAR FX personalities: Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond, and they had to vote one ahead of the rest, and that phone is the one we answer. We flip that up. It has a number anywhere from 6 through 12, as the guys have been telling you, and that's the inversion. That's how we'll flip it. So let's see. We got a busy signal. We got a call waiting, and here we go. The percentages favor. That's correct, right? 70% at the last moment. A DW landslide. So Darrell Waltrip, and the inversion number is 10, just like that. So it's not the maximum, but that would mean, guys, that Ryan Newman goes to the front and Mark Martin right behind him. So Kyle Busch and Tony Stewart get thrown to the back. So our guys will run through the entire field, another 30-lap segment, then a 20-lap segment, and you'll get your big winner on All-Star Night here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Coming up, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Their album debuted #1, Stadium Arcadium. They'll perform, and we'll continue to bring you racing from Charlotte.
All restarts double file, and the leader at the end of segment 2, $75,000. Dick Berggren.
Mark Martin benefits from the inversion. He will restart in second position with a car that's just a little bit tight. Matt Kenseth.
And Michael Waltrip slams the wall near start finish.
Hard lick. Caution will be out.
Hey, that thing
he has no brakes.
He's got no brakes.
I think maybe hung.
Man, it's a good thing it spun around. That thing was headed right for the inside pit wall. Woo. He's all right to win the net's down.
Wham, bam.
Goodness.
Off of turn 4, where we've seen so many problems throughout the entire weekend.
Really, I just can't believe how treacherous turn 4 is.
And a very frustrating season for the 1996 All-Star winner continues.
It's right in front of Dale Jarrett here.
Same thing we've seen
right
happen to so many cars. Car just got loose.
I saw them working on it down. I had it jacked up, and they were all up under the bottom, up underneath it, working on it. I don't know what they did, but it didn't help it. Yeah, it just comes around all by itself. I can't even count the number of times we've seen that happen over here this weekend.
Almost happened to Greg Biffle right at the start of the race earlier in the 16. He was just able to correct it.
Michael's okay.
You know, the thing that worries me about my brother, he's 6'5", and he is just wadded up inside that race car. He doesn't have a whole lot of room.
And he will join Kurt Busch in the garage. They call them soft walls. They're hard. Still pretty hard.
Tear up your car.
Martin. And here they are, all cut. This is the big one we have in the All-Star race.
Tony Stewart.
Stewart had it missed, and Jeremy Mayfield came across track into him.
He kept quite a bit of damage, but here's the guys that made it through right here.
The 48 car, Jimmy Johnson being one of them.
Does he live a charmed life? He had just made the pass to the inside when Kane and Mark Martin up front got together and into the outside wall.
His teammate didn't come out too badly either. Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin's car is destroyed. Tony's got quite a bit of damage.
Left front, especially.
Left front and rear. He got hit from behind.
And right behind him, Greg Biffle, a 16 car, could see a lot of damage on his right front. There's Kyle Busch. We just talked about him. Both ends of that race car.
You know, back in my day, those inverts on the features usually resulted in similar results.
Jamie McMurray, the 26 car, involved in that early crash coming off turn 4. He had stayed on the lead lap, and look at this car.
Look at Jeremy Mayfield's car.
How does McMurray even see where to go with that hood up like that?
Casey Kane just gets loose. He gets pushing up here off of turn 2, and he gets into Mark. And you see him, he gets loose right there, and here he comes into Mark, and they both go in the wall. And
nowhere for Mark to go, and they start stacking up behind him. You see Biffle and Kyle Busch getting together. There you see McMurray and Mayfield.
Tony had it missed and got tagged.
Yeah, he got hit from behind by Jeremy Mayfield, and he got hit really hard.
DW, watching this right here reminds me of the wreck you had with Dale Earnhardt in '95. Kind of got pinched up an outside wall, and you know how hard that impact is.
Oh yeah, that hurts. And we didn't have safer barriers in. That helps a little bit, but still, it's a hard hit for a bunch of those guys.
Did you see how close Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon almost
just
got into that?
Wiggled through.
Here's Matt.
Mike Casey's going to take the car to the garage. They have a hole in the radiator. The water was already up to 250. Yes, I'm going to take exactly what he said. And basically, that was simply the car was in the racetrack, and then it wasn't. I had absolutely no grip, and away it went.
Well, we've talked about it all night. I mean, from the get-go, these restarts were going to be treacherous. Oh, my gosh. That makes all my ribs hurt.
And when that happens with the front row, this is the results.
See Greg Biffle down there, Larry. He's sliding through that. I know he got hit. I don't know how much.
Got a lot of damage on the right front.
3 of the Roush cars involved.
And 2 of the Evernham cars. There you see the damage on Greg Biffle, the 16 car.
And because the lapped cars have to restart all the way in the back, you have virtually no chance of getting a lap back from the leader. You might as well go to the house. Steve?
And Mike, just listening to Greg Biffle talk to Doug Richard, and Greg's point is if they have too much aerodynamic damage, he said, we're not going to beat those guys with a torn up race car. Let's just put the wheels on it and put it back in the garage. They just don't, there's too much damage for them to be competitive, Matt.
A lot of damage to the rear of Tony Stewart's Chevrolet, Steve. He asked who was it that hit him. It felt like it was at full speed. A lot of cosmetic damage there. Also, Greg Zipadelli is surveying the damage on the left front fender. A lot of bare bond tape trying to piece together what they have left of that front fender, Dick.
It's amazing that Casey Kane was able to drive what is left of his race car into the garage area, but he has done just that. Been pretty much staring off into the distance since you got here. What's your make on what happened out there?
You know, I thought we had a good car. We got to the front there and just had a car. I just trying to race with Mark there and just lost grip. I mean, it was all there, everything's great, and then gone just like that. So it's tough, man. There's not a lot of grip out there, and when a car's tucked up beside you, there's just. I thought everything was great. Next thing I knew, I was backwards, and that's not good when you're in front of the whole race pack.
We're glad you're okay. This garage is absolutely full of wreckage, Mike. It's an amazing sight down here.
Well, it is a fairly common occurrence in the All-Star race that we have incidents that involve multiple cars and send them to the garage.
There's just too many things going on at this weekend. Hard tires,
and all the other things that drivers are having to deal with. And then, of course, these double foul restarts, inverts, just a lot of things.
Boy, Ryan Newman in that 12 was another lucky driver that just barely got through. But look at Kyle Busch, how many times that race car gets hit the 5 car.
Now we're watching Mayfield to answer Tony Stewart's question. It was Mayfield that got into Stewart, but it looked as if he got turned by contact with Biffle and then came across.
I tell you, guy, watch this. There goes Jimmy Johnson through.
Yeah.
Kurt Busch, but watch Jeff Gordon.
See, Tony's got it missed. And wham.
From Mayfield, the 19 coming up off the bottom.
He probably did feel like he got hit running wide open because Mayfield was basically coming back across the racetrack.
All right. We understand we're going to see Jamie McMurray come down.
He's back there in the back. Yeah.
He's out of frame and just now coming in right there. So let's roll. It's against Kyle Busch. That sends Mayfield in.
Here comes Tony, which he's probably thinking I'm in pretty good shape, but then he gets turned.
Yeah, he had those cars that were wrecked missed.
Right.
He got turned into it all.
I'm not sure how the 26, the 19, obviously, maybe the 26 hit the 19 and knocked him into Tony.
Well, let's see if we can find out. Steve?
With Jeremy Mayfield, Mike, and you've looked at the replay just partially for the first time. What happened from your point of view?
I'm not sure. I know that I seen, you know, Casey get crossed up there for some reason. I'm sure what happened if somebody got into him, whatever, and then just start stacking up from there. But we were going to be fine, and then, you know, how you get hit from behind and all that stuff, just racing. And I hate it because our car is really good. We had a plug wire that kind of got messed up at the beginning, kind of set us back a little bit, but we had a great car tonight. I'm real proud of all the guys on this Dodge Dealers team and UAW and everybody's involved and sticking with us. And I thought we was going to have a good run tonight and just come up short.
Jeremy, I heard you. Did you say something to Tony Stewart after the incident?
Well, yeah, he come at me, you know, raising hell down there, you know, revving his motor up and stuff. I didn't have nothing to do with it, you know, so I come down here and make sure we're all right, and we are. So we're cool.
Thank you, Jeremy. Dick?
With Mark Martin, and he has not yet seen a replay of this incident. His car is incredibly torn up. We'll see if we can get something to roll here for you, Mark, so you can see it. Here it comes. Talk us through it.
I can't tell from that angle, but just looks like Casey slid up into me. I don't know. It's one of those things, man. I just want to thank all the AAA members out there and all my fans. I came here to race, and, buddy, we were doing it. So, you know, yeah, there he goes. He lost it. You know, all I can tell you is that when you're down on the inside, that gas pedal controls whether you lose control of it or not. And you got to think about how much you give it down there. And, you know, on the other restart, I saw Ryan Newman thought about it a little bit, and he didn't give it all he had because he knew he was going to get loose down there. So, you know, kudos to Ryan Newman. Great show. We're fixing to have us a different winner than people might have expected. We've jumbled up the field. It's an honor to be driving this AAA car, this Ford Fusion, and man, I'm just happy to be here.
Will you come back next year and run this event again?
I'll be here.
Good. We'll look forward to seeing you then. And next weekend as well.
Thank you.
This is Mark's final season in Nextel Cup. He will be eligible for the All-Star race next year, and he's going to run it. Good news for Mark Martin fans. Have a look and listen to this. Flag is out. The field pulls off of pit road. And that old Johnny Horton song, there wasn't nigh as many as there was a while ago.
Doing a lot of stopping and starting, though.
Clear, man. 10-4. I don't know how you did that. I couldn't even see it come through it. Beautiful, bud. I saw it coming.
he had a bird's eye view. Ringside seat. Watch that purple and black car.
Up on the outside, right behind the two guys that wreck. They just happened to give him enough room to get by.
There wasn't a whole lot a spotter could do there for him. He had a much better view than the spotter. Lap and they cross the start-finish line. We will see that caution displayed. Pace car will pick the field up. Everyone will have the option of making pit stops.
And the best news for fellas like Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, Bobby Labonte is the next restart, double final.
Yes, sir.
Harvick leads lap 70, running right at 30 seconds. Rest of the field's coming across. And then we'll get, Jeff, what could be the final caution flag of the night.
Mike, it might be the final caution flag of the night, but for a lot of these teams, and listen to you guys talk, watching that scoring monitor, it tells me I've got an idea what it's going to take to be able to beat Kevin Harvick right now as the caution flag does come out to get ready to set up the final segment. So if I'm not that good, guys, I'm coming down on pit road, and I'm going to make a lot of adjustments, hoping the double file restart, and maybe those adjustments give me a chance to maybe get up there.
Try to just get enough fuel in there to go to the end and try to win the battle off pit road. And here they come, what could be the final pit stop.
Gas and go, baby.
You got to fill it up because only green flag laps count in the last segment, so we could have a lot of laps to run here.
Let's see what happens here. I'd be
Dick?
Well, Carl Edwards is going to take 4 fresh tires, brand new tires, not even scuffed. They're going to put a little more weight in the left rear. They're going to try to tighten his car up. Steve?
Todd Berrier and Kevin Harvick talking about possibly taking just right side tires. That's what they do. The 48 car, they are going to raise the Panhard bar. Matt?
Shaggy Larson already completed the wedge adjustment on Tony Stewart's Chevrolet, taking one more shot here, trying to get this race car freed up. He's down and away.
Harvick wins the race off pit road. Then it's between Kenseth and Johnson for the second spot.
And he's the only car that took 2 tires. The best I can tell, everyone else did 4 tires, and I'm a little surprised at that.
Last night in the truck race, 50-lap tires came off those trucks. They look brand new.
Is that song After Midnight? I think it is.
It sounds like to me.
It applies, I know that.
Raised it off turn 4. Jimmy Johnson's going to take the lead going off into turn 1.
Yeah, he cleared him. Oh, God, there's Tony Stewart and Matt Kenseth.
Hard in the wall.
Hard in the wall.
Caution will be out.
Golly, geez.
And the 3 cars behind them didn't even try to drive through it.
They just stopped. Just stopped on the racetrack.
I've had my spotter say that before. Just stop.
Dale Jarrett, Kyle Petty, and Scott Riggs, who was a lap down, but looks like the night will be over for the 17 and the 20 car.
Looks like Tony got in underneath the 17 car and lost it. Very similar to what happened to Casey Kane and Mark Martin.
Now first, Carl Edwards gets into the wall coming out of turn 4.
All by himself. Loses the back end. Slaps it.
Pretty hard.
Pretty darn hard.
Just ran out of racetrack.
Yep.
Then at the other end of the speedway, turn 1.
You know, Matt was already a little loose getting down in. It looked like he was really almost sideways before Tony ever got in there and got on him. Have to look at that again. Have these 2 guys had a little, didn't they start the year off this way?
At Daytona.
See those 3 cars back there stopping. They didn't know where these 2 were going to go.
And since caution laps don't count, it didn't much matter.
And both of them just took their cars straight to the garage area.
There seems to be a meeting going on over at the 20 car.
Tony Stewart, twice a series champion, won't see victory lane tonight.
So we are now down to 9 cars left on the racetrack. One of those cars, Scott Riggs, a lap down. Actually,
yes, one lap down.
Yeah.
Now he was the 2nd car off pit road at the break, but because he was a lap down, had to restart in the rear.
The back, yeah.
So you might have wondered when he first got a lap down with that cut tire, why keep going? Because now he's up to.
Let's see if we can watch the 17 back here. They're going down to turn 1. That's Tony down here on the inside. Oh, they get together, but that's what Tony gets into the left rear of the 17, gets him sideways, and then they get hooked together and make pretty hard contact into the outside wall.
That was your third and fourth place car.
It's hard to say how that started. Only the two drivers know. Let's hear from one of them. Dick?
You just watched that replay. What did it look like?
I didn't see the beginning of it. You know, I knew Tony had a run, and you know, I just you know, at the start finish line he was still behind me, so I just pulled down against the grass because I was going to obviously protect the bottom. And you know, if he got inside me, I don't know how he did. He must have run over the grass to get there. And once I said he was inside, I moved up, but he just tapped me in the left rear, and then he proceeded to take a right and run me up the fence. So you know, if he was under there, I didn't know he was under there. I don't know how he got there when I was against the grass.
Two. Whoa, that was close.
It was close. Now, Scott, again, a lap down. I'm not so sure after that one if I wouldn't just say, why don't we bring that thing on in here?
Yeah, I didn't see it tire down. I think he just lost it. He didn't hit anything. He just.
It looked like he dropped a right rear, Darrell. Take a look here.
Well, it's just what these cars have been doing, Mike. They just get, all of a sudden, they snap loose.
Wow.
That's what happened to Casey Kane. We've seen a number of guys do that off turn 4 there. They just snap loose. That's why the drivers are so uneasy and uncomfortable.
Nextel challenge.
There you see as they'll come around 2 laps to go. It's Jimmy Johnson back to his teammate Jeff Gordon, the 24 car.
You know, something I didn't realize that, of course, Jeff runs awfully well here all the time. But he hadn't won a race here since, I think it's 2001 is the last time Jeff Gordon won a race here.
I know he won the All-Star race that year in a backup car.
Exactly.
I'm sure all of these teams, they have learned a lot headed into the longest race of the season next week.
Well, they may have learned a lot, but they're also going to have to bring back a different car. A bunch of them are. White flag in the air for $1 million. Brings her off at turn 2, looks down that long back straightaway.
Kyle Petty in the 45 got by Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8, so Kyle moves up to the 8th position in the 45.
Puts the Petty cars 6th and 8th. The 2003 winner of the Nextel All-Star Challenge, about to give Hendrick Motorsports its 5th All-Star win. Jimmy Johnson in the Lowe's Chevy wins the Nextel All-Star Challenge.
Got a big tip of the hat though to Kevin Harvick and Richard Jones.
All the hard work going into this. Thank you so much, boys. Thank you.
Strong second for Harvick. Jeff Gordon 3.5 seconds back. Carl Edwards, nice recovery, 4th. Ryan Newman 5th. Bobby Labonte 6th. Dale Jarrett 7th. Kyle Petty, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Scott Riggs, the top 10.
But I just think about their weekend. We've talked about all the elements. Gives us a little thumbs up there on our in-car camera. But how junked these guys were in practice. The pit road speeding penalty. He finishes 11th in the first segment. They invert 10. Overcame a lot.
Yeah, that speeding penalty I thought may have done him in, but he overcame that, and here he sits.
It's his 7th win in an Nextel Cup car at Lowe's Motor Speedway. This is his house. 5-point race wins and now 2 All-Star victories.
And that's only in about 4.5 years he's done that. Be a challenge with a hard tire to do a burnout. No challenge for him.
Did you see the sparks?
he's grinding them off. He's not burning them off, he's grinding them off.
There's crew chief Chad Ganaus and Darian Grubb, who won the Daytona 500 as Jimmy Johnson's crew chief.
Ooh, look at that money, boys.
A lot of commas in the top 10.
Kyle Petty, look at there, 123,000 he won. Pope donated, what, 250,000? Victory Junction gang had a big night too, boys.
Yes, they did.
And there's Bobby Labonte in the other Petty car, 100 grand. Buy him a lot of Cheerios.
And we'll be back to Lowe's Motor Speedway right after this.
Sunday morning, but the celebration will go on probably well into next week for Jimmy Johnson, whose Lowe's number 48 team just barely any distance at all from Hendrick Motorsports headquarters, right up the road. The fans are still hanging around. Fireworks have just ended, and there is still a lot of partying to be going on here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Jimmy Johnson, the man of the night, joins us now. And Jimmy, we talked all day long about this old-fashioned shootout, yet you and your team ran such a patient race all night long, just plotting your way to the victory.
Yeah, we had a great race car, and at the beginning we got in the lead and kind of was controlling the race. But then I came to pit road trying to get our green flag pit stop out of the way. There was a wreck behind me. I looked up in the mirror and I thought a car was going to hit me coming onto pit road, so I stood on the gas to get out of the way, and I got a speeding violation entering the pits. And then from there, once I came out and I was still on the lead lap, after my drive-through penalty, I knew I was going to be all right. I hoped that I could catch the inversion. Missed that by one spot, but then just kept, chipping away at things. And some good cars were taken out early, kind of midway through that second segment. That didn't hurt by any means, but at the end I had just an awesome shootout with Harvick, man. We had a great race.
You know what I can't figure out, Jimmy, is there something with Lowe's? you come in here and you've won with the big spoiler. You've won with the small spoiler. You've won with the mess up of the grinding. Now you come back and you win with the new pavement, the hard tire. There had to be some kind of changes over the period of time to win. This is the 5th time I believe you've won.
Yep.
In a row. Like 6 races or whatever.
Unbelievable. I don't know what it is. All I can really, try to put some thought on is that there's a line and a rhythm for this racetrack that I look for, and we just set the car up for that. And yesterday in the sun, with all the practice that went on for qualifying and even in qualifying, the car wasn't right. I stayed around for a couple hours after the race after qualifying last night, working on the race car with Chad and the guys, and we're just trying to get it right. And tonight, when the sun went down and the grip was in the track, I could run the line that I'm used to, drive the rhythm that that was exciting.
It was. Cool move.
Drive the line that I'm used to, and I don't know why or how it works out, but it has, and I'm very thankful with it being a Lowe's Motor Speedway.